Hello ladies and gentlemen. Today I will be discussing the effect of active recovery protocols on the management of symptoms related to exercise-induced muscle damage. It's a systematic review. By definition, exercise-induced muscle damage follows an unaccustomed intensive exercise. It leads to delayed onset muscle soreness or DOMS, and DOMS usually is characterized by a decrease in muscle force, a discomfort and pain peaking between 24 to 72 hours, decreasing and disappearing by 5 to 7 days. Along with DOMS, we will also see intramuscular inflammation characterized by an increase in C-reactive protein, in creatine kinase, in white blood cells, and this is where we have synthesis for prostaglandin causing pain, leukotriene increasing the vascular permeability, generating free radicals, causing swelling and leading to more damage to the cell membrane. The main exercise responsible of this phenomenon, exercise-induced muscle damage and the emergence of DOMS, is the eccentric exercise when compared to other types of contraction or rest. Studies and papers have shown a decrease in force by 30 to 36%, 5 to 7% decrease in range of motion, an increase in muscle stiffness, but no significant differences were found in CK values. We have two major types of recovery in the literature. We have the passive recovery and the active recovery. Our main focus in this review will be on active recovery, and literature have also found many advantages for active recovery protocols. Blood lactate removal, increased muscle performance was reported in one study. Other studies have reported higher muscle voluntary contraction and higher total quality recovery and a decreased feeling of heavy legs. These benefits were reported and attributed to active recovery. Our main objective from this review is to summarize the benefits and identify limitations of all active recovery protocols, provide a practical approach for active individuals, coaches, and therapists regarding what could enhance performance level. In order to do so, we conducted a search strategy using the following databases: PubMed, Web of Science, Sport Discuss, Scopus, and Central. And to summarize, we have the following flow chart summarizing each step of our search strategy. We ended up with 17 randomized control studies, eligible studies, including all the eligible criteria with at least one active recovery protocol, comparing to control groups or to control arm or leg, and assessing outcome measures for up to minimum 48 hours following an unaccustomed exercise. The participants included in these collected papers were 481 participants, of which 190 males, 291 females, with an average age of 24.4 years old. 3 studies included only males, 4 studies included only females, and 10 studies were with mixed sex samples. Athletes, recreational or healthy untrained individual were all the participants included in these papers. The corresponding active recovery protocols collected in these papers were isolated muscle contractions, cycling or arm cranking, stretching, general physical activity, exercise in water, and yoga. The outcome measures used in these papers have assessed soreness, muscle performance, inflammation by blood samples to see the inflammatory markers, flexibility, assessing fatigue by rating of perceived exertion, assessing active and passive range of motion, swelling by assessing muscle circumference, and other parameters related to body awareness, perceived physical state, and reaction time. The results of these studies were as follows. As we can see, the first significant result was following a knee flexion extension exercise reported by one paper, where they noticed a significant decrease of pain at 48 hours and a significant less decrease of maximal voluntary contraction, total work, and peak torque of knee extensors when it was compared to the leg that did not do the exercises at 48 hours. And another study have reported a significant immediate decrease of 43% in soreness following a light concentric flexion extension exercise for the elbow flexors during the 4 days of recovery, but this result was short-term and not sustained. Another significant result was following 3 soccer games where 2 different types of recoveries and no recovery at all were performed. The first active recovery protocol was called DOMS reduction session, and it included jogging, running, low intensity eccentric exercises and ball control skills. We have noticed following this type of protocol 29% higher pain threshold at 48 hours, 22.3% decrease of plasma CK between 24 and 48 hours. Following a different recovery protocol called standard recovery training session, including jogging and ball control skills, 19% lower pain threshold at 48 hours was reported. And following the no recovery protocol, or simply the rest, following one of the 3 soccer games, 36.6% decrease of plasma CK was reported between 24 and 48 hours. Also following an interesting type of general activity, which is a Wii boxing game session, authors have reported a greater pain threshold and an increase in active total range of motion on day 1, and this was compared to light concentric exercise adopted in a different group. Additionally, we have noticed a significant positive result following aqua exercise. So exercising in water have actually shown a significant decrease in calf muscle soreness and stiffness, and we have seen a significant result on muscle power, with a more pronounced decline that was noticed in the control group at day 2, which means the group that did not actually exercise in water. Following aqua cycling, so cycling in water, have shown a greater increase in all blood markers. Also, yoga, which is very interesting as a recovery protocol, have shown a lower peak muscle soreness and an improved flexibility both at 24 and 48 hours. Finally, we have not noticed or no significant effect was reported following cycling, arm cranking, and cycling and low intensity resistance training combined together, and static and dynamic stretching. So no significant effect was reported on any of the outcome measures following these recovery protocols. So to conclude, we can say that a positive but limited management of DOMS following muscle isolated contractions, jogging, running, aqua exercise and yoga. The loss in muscle power was prevented to some extent after aqua exercise, so we are saying a limited management and to some extent because we know that these techniques help, but they did not really improve the performance of the athletes. We can also say inflammatory markers decreased following jogging and running, flexibility was improved by yoga, but no effect was found following arm cranking, cycling and stretching. So we can say that functional capacity and performance, as I said, did not seem to benefit significantly, and the most important thing, none of the tested methods have shown an adverse effect on soreness, and this is a very important point to mention here. For our practical implications following this systematic review, we can say that a protocol involving active recovery following any intensive activity is beneficial on different aspects related to performance, so the use of active recovery is favored. Exercise underwater might be a good option to limit the decrease in muscular strength following an intensive training session. We can also say that soreness can be relieved by a number of active recovery protocols, ranging from isolated muscle contractions to general activities such as jogging and running. And finally, we can say that the improvement of performance level following an intensive training session was not offered by any particular active recovery protocol, and this is actually very critical and recommended for future research in order to improve performance and optimize the training benefits for all athletes. Thank you for your attention.